one question that has come in is, how does one fight in the mode of goodness? It is sometimes challenging to express it in a loving and caring manner. How does one work on it?
A very
Me
important.
first.
No. Sometimes there's issues that can become heated. And we were talking with one couple yesterday, and she said, I always start off too fast. I start off like 60 miles an hour. And I said, yeah, everything's probably a blur, isn't it? And she said, yeah. So actually, even in terms of our psychophysical nature, if you start off a dialogue on some challenge or issue that you have in your marriage and you are escalated, if your pulse rate is above 100 beats a minute, you can actually feel your pulse behind your neck and you can time it. If it's above 100 beats a minute, you're in something called hyperarousal. Your heart's racing and your body will be producing cortisol, which is a hormone that takes the blood away from your brain and it puts it in your outer limbs so you can fight or do the flight thing, run away. And it's that state of consciousness is not conducive to thinking with compassion and logic. So it's very important, if you want to deal with some challenge, one of the first things you want to do is
Get yourself in the mode of goodness.
Get yourself in the mode of goodness. You want to calm down so you can be respectful, so you can say what you need with respect. And then both the husband and wife, or if it's friends or with your children, you also have to be able to listen with respect. And if you have that consciousness that I have to say this respect, I have to listen to respect, then you'll get the most effect. But if you start off escalated, research actually shows that a conversation will end on the same tone that it starts. So if you start out very escalated, you always do this, you never do that, blah, 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 it's going to end up with, why are you criticizing me? And it's not going to be constructive. You have to start out with compassion. It will end with compassion. So it's very important to have just like there's all kinds of games. There's hockey and rugby and football and tennis. There's rules for the game. The rules help the game to move smoothly. They settle disputes, and it makes the game function properly. So the same way in dealing with our conflicts, if we can have a defined methodology to navigate that conflict with respect, so we can both be heard and understood and can negotiate the ways to solve the problem or to manage it, then it can be done in a very constructive, non-confrontational way.
And you usually have to do that at a time when you're not in conflict. So we usually advise every couple to come up with some kind of a signal. I need a timeout, or maybe you need the timeout. And it's a full stop. We just both agree. We're going to immediately stop, and we're going to go and we're going to do whatever works for us to get to the mode of goodness so our best self comes out. And it's hard to do because some of us are conditioned to feel abandoned when the person goes off. But if you talk about it ahead of time and you have agreement, no, I'm going to come back when I can deal with you respectfully in a loving way. I'm not abandoning you, right? You have that. So it's something that you do have to make your game plan ahead of time. And you have to have that game plan and you have to stick to it. Because when you have full respect living and you don't settle for anything less, things are going to go well.
It's important to understand that your differences are not your enemies.
They're just different.
Yeah, those differences, they're just different. And actually, they're the arrangement of Krishna, so you can practice humility, tolerance, and patience and respect. Where do we think those qualities are going to come from? They're just going to fall from the sky and all of a sudden I'm going to be more tolerant than a tree? It's not going to happen that way. Krishna's going to put us in a situation where
like marriage.
Like marriage, so we can practice being a little respectful and tolerant and patient. And again, it takes practice. It's not easy, but as they say, practice makes perfect. And that's what bhakti yoga, sadhana bhakti means, devotional service in practice, to practice having that kind of a mood of bhakti, even in our disagreements. But it's possible.
Okay.